Americans spend billions of dollars on milk every year. Most people do not stand in the dairy aisle with a magnifying glass. They see a familiar carton, a clean label, a green pasture, a smiling cow, maybe the word organic, maybe the word pure, and they put it in the cart. But here is the uncomfortable part. One carton in your refrigerator may not be what the label promises. Some milk brands have been connected to recall records. Some have been criticized by organic watchdogs for industrial sourcing. Some sell a health image while the nutrition label tells a very different story. And some are trusted by parents, grandparents, and doctors' offices, simply because the packaging looks safe. Today, we are going brand by brand through 10 milk brands many families may want to avoid, and then we will name 8 milk brands that have actually earned a place in the refrigerator. Before we start, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week on Golden Menu, we look past the front of the package and check the label, the sourcing, the recalls, the lawsuits, and the hidden details that ordinary shoppers do not have time to research. And stay with me until number 5, because that one is sitting in millions of carts for one reason: people trust the store name. But the store name may be the least important thing on the carton. Number 10. Horizon Organic. Horizon Organic is one of the best-known organic milk brands in the United States. For many families, it feels like the safe default. It is the carton people reach for when they want to spend a little more and feel like they made the responsible choice. That is exactly why it belongs on this list. The problem is not that Horizon is hard to find. The problem is that it is everywhere. When a brand becomes the face of organic dairy, the standard behind that brand matters. According to the Cornucopia Institute Organic Dairy Scorecard, Horizon has been rated near the bottom compared with more transparent organic dairy brands. Cornucopia has long criticized large-scale organic dairy operations for creating a version of organic that may meet the minimum paperwork requirement while failing to match what most shoppers imagine when they hear the word organic. And that is the key phrase: what shoppers imagine. Most people picture cows on pasture. They picture smaller farms. They picture better animal treatment. They picture milk that is meaningfully different from conventional milk, not just more expensive. But watchdog criticism has focused on the gap between that image and large-scale organic sourcing. Horizon has also faced spoilage-related recall notices, including more recent voluntary recall attention involving Horizon Organic products with reports of early spoilage concerns. Now, let us be clear. A spoilage recall is not the same as a deadly outbreak. It does not mean every Horizon carton is unsafe. But for a premium organic brand, it raises a fair question. If you are paying a premium because you believe the brand is held to a higher standard, how much transparency are you actually getting? A senior shopper on a fixed income should not have to pay $7 or $8 for a half-gallon based on a picture of a pasture. A parent should not have to guess whether the organic carton represents true pasture-based dairy or just a legal label with better marketing. The taste is clean enough. The label looks comforting. The shelf placement is excellent. But when a brand sells trust as the main product, the details behind that trust deserve scrutiny. The better rule is simple. Do not stop at the word organic. Look for named farms, cooperative ownership, grass-fed certification, pasture claims that are verified, and a brand that lets you trace the milk beyond the carton. Because the front label is written by marketing, the backstory is where the truth usually lives. Number 9. Aurora Organic Dairy and Private Label Organic Milk. You may not recognize the name, Aurora Organic Dairy. That is part of the problem. Aurora is a major supplier behind private label organic dairy. In plain English, that means the milk may show up under a grocery store brand instead of the Aurora name. The carton may say organic. It may carry the name of a retailer you already trust. But the actual source can be much harder for an ordinary shopper to understand. This is where trust gets very slippery. In 2007, the United States Department of Agriculture cited Aurora Organic Dairy for 14 willful violations of organic rules. Aurora later entered into a consent agreement with the USDA, That was years ago, and the company continued operating. But the case became one of the most famous examples of how industrial-scale organic dairy can create confusion for consumers. The issue was not just a technical paperwork dispute. The core concern involved whether milk represented as organic was produced in full compliance with organic standards, including pasture access and organic management. For a shopper, this matters because private label organic milk often competes on price. It says organic. It costs less than premium local brands, and it feels like a smart buy. But if the carton does not clearly tell you the farm, the cooperative, or the sourcing structure, you are buying based on faith. And faith is not a food safety system. Here is the grocery aisle test. Pick up the carton and ask one question. Can I tell where this milk really came from? If the answer is no, that does not automatically mean the milk is dangerous. But it does mean you have less information than the package wants you to feel you have. Private label organic can be convenient. It can be affordable. But in dairy, the cheapest organic carton is often cheap for a reason. Large-scale sourcing, limited transparency, and retailer branding can create a curtain between the shopper and the farm. And once that curtain is there, the organic seal has to do more work than it was designed to do. Before we go to the next carton, remember this. A trusted grocery store name is not the same as a transparent milk source. The store may be famous. The milk may still be anonymous. Number 8. Lactaid. Lactaid is not on this list because lactose-free milk is a bad idea. For many people, Lactaid is genuinely useful. If regular milk causes stomach discomfort, lactose-free milk can make daily life easier. Older adults especially may rely on it because digestion changes with age, and dairy that once felt fine can start to feel heavy. That is why this brand deserves a careful look. In September 2024, H.P. Hood recalled select 96-ounce Lactaid milk products because they may have contained trace amounts of almond not listed on the label. The FDA notice stated that people with an allergy or severe sensitivity to almonds could risk a serious or life-threatening allergic reaction if they consumed the affected products. The recall involved product shipped to retailers and wholesalers in 27 states. The FDA notice also said no illnesses had been reported at the time of the announcement. That last detail matters. We are not saying Lactaid made people sick in that recall. We are saying a brand built around helping people manage one food sensitivity had a recall involving another undeclared allergen. That is a serious trust problem. When someone buys lactose-free milk, they are often reading labels because their body gives them no choice. They are not casually choosing a flavor. They are managing symptoms, routines, and sometimes medical concerns. An undeclared allergen breaks that relationship. There is another point worth mentioning. Lactaid tastes sweeter than regular milk because lactase breaks lactose into simpler sugars. That does not make it bad. It just means it is a processed solution to a digestive issue, not a magic health upgrade. If Lactaid works for you and your doctor agrees it fits your diet, this video is not telling you to panic. A nostalgic local brand can have an old recall record that shoppers never heard about. But you do not need to be afraid of every carton. You just need better rules. Rule 1. Do not trust the front label alone. The front label sells the feeling. The nutrition panel and sourcing details tell the truth. Rule 2. Plain milk should not have added sugar. If it is chocolate, vanilla, or flavored, treat it like a dessert drink, especially for children. Rule 3. Organic is a start, not the finish line. Look for transparent sourcing, farmer-owned cooperatives, grass-fed standards, strong third-party certifications, or a brand with a clear farm story. Rule 4. Take recalls seriously, especially if you are buying for older adults, children, pregnant women, or anyone with allergies or a weakened immune system. Rule 5. If a brand charges a premium, demand a premium reason. A pretty pasture on the carton is not enough. The best milk brands do not just ask for trust. They show you why they deserve it. If this video made you look at your refrigerator differently, That is the point. Most families are not trying to buy bad food. They are busy. They are tired. They are trusting labels that were designed to feel comforting. Here at Golden Menu, we slow the aisle down. We check the brands, the claims, the recalls, the scorecards, the lawsuits, and the fine print, so you can shop with clearer eyes. Subscribe before you go, because next time we are going into another everyday product that millions of families buy without thinking twice. And before your next grocery trip, remember this: the safest carton is not always the most famous one. It is the one that gives you the fewest reasons to wonder what it is hiding. But it is telling you to pay attention to recall notices, product codes, and allergy information. For older viewers, this is especially important. Many households have one person drinking regular milk, another drinking lactose-free milk, and grandchildren coming in and out of the kitchen. A carton that looks routine can still matter if allergies are involved. The rule here is simple. If you buy specialty milk for a health reason, treat the label like a safety document, not decoration. Number 7. Raw Farm Raw Milk. Raw milk has one of the most loyal followings in the entire dairy world. Supporters say it is natural. They say it is less processed. They say it contains enzymes and beneficial bacteria that pasteurized milk does not have. For some people, raw milk is not just a product. It is an identity. But food safety is not about identity. It is about risk. A CDC report published in 2025 described a Salmonella typhimurium outbreak during 2023 and 2024, linked to commercially distributed raw milk from a California dairy. The investigation identified 171 cases across California and 4 other states. The report stated that 22 people were hospitalized, and 70% of cases were among children and adolescents. That is not a small warning sign. That is a public health event. Raw farm products were also involved in major public attention after California officials detected H5N1 bird flu virus in raw milk products in 2024, leading to quarantine and recall actions. Again, the mechanism is not complicated. Pasteurization exists because milk can carry bacteria and viruses from the farm environment into the bottle. Salmonella, E. coli, Campylobacter, and Listeria are not marketing debates. They are organisms that can send people to the hospital. This is especially important for older adults, children, pregnant women, and people with weakened immune systems. Those are the exact groups that public health agencies repeatedly warn about when discussing raw dairy. Raw milk may taste rich. It may feel old-fashioned. It may be sold with language about tradition and nature. But nature does not automatically mean safe. For a healthy adult who understands the risk, the decision is personal. For a household with grandchildren, elderly relatives, or anyone medically vulnerable, the risk calculation changes. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Some of the most dangerous food choices do not look dangerous. They look wholesome. They look local. They look like a return to the way food used to be. But in the old days, people also got sick from milk far more often. Pasteurization became common for a reason. Number 6. Fairlife. Fairlife is one of the most successful examples of modern milk branding. The bottle looks sleek. The protein number is big. The sugar number is lower. The product is ultra-filtered, lactose-free, and positioned like a smart health upgrade for busy adults. It feels like the milk aisle met the protein shake aisle. But Fairlife has a history that many shoppers still do not know. In 2019, undercover video at Fair Oaks Farms, a major Fairlife supplier at the time, showed workers abusing calves. The footage triggered public backlash, arrests, and lawsuits. Coca-Cola, which later fully acquired Fairlife and other parties, agreed to a $21 million settlement involving claims tied to animal welfare marketing. The settlement did not include an admission of wrongdoing. That legal detail matters, but the consumer question also matters. If a brand builds its identity around better choices, better care, and premium nutrition, shoppers are allowed to ask whether the supply chain matched the image. Fairlife milk itself is engineered to deliver more protein and less sugar than standard milk. For some people that is useful, but it is not the same as a simple farm-fresh product. Ultrafiltration changes the composition. Vitamins may be added back. The texture can feel thicker and more processed. None of that means the product is automatically unhealthy, but it does mean the marketing deserves a second look. A bottle can be beautiful and still have a troubling backstory. A protein number can be impressive and still leave questions about animal welfare. A premium price can make a product feel cleaner than it really is. That is why Fairlife belongs on the avoid list for many families. Not because every bottle is unsafe, because the gap between image and history is too large to ignore. Before we continue, look at the pattern. The biggest milk problems are not always hidden in the nutrition panel. Sometimes they are hidden in the sourcing, the supplier network, the lawsuit history, and the things a package does not have room to explain. Number 5. Store brand organic milk. This is the one many families still trust. Kroger Simple Truth, Target Good and Gather, Publix Greenwise. Other private label organic cartons that sit beside national brands and promise a better choice for a lower price. For many households, this feels like the perfect compromise. You get the organic seal, you avoid the highest price, you trust the store, you feel responsible. But in dairy, private label organic can be one of the least transparent categories in the entire aisle. The carton may not tell you the farm. It may not tell you the cooperative. It may not tell you whether the milk came from a small pasture-based operation or a large industrial supplier. It may simply carry the retailer name and the USDA organic seal. That creates a problem. The seal tells you certain standards were supposed to be met. It does not tell you the full story of animal welfare, herd size, pasture quality, sourcing consistency, or whether the brand has meaningful oversight beyond supplier paperwork. Cornucopia ratings have placed many private label organic dairy products near the bottom of the organic dairy scorecard, largely because of transparency concerns and questions about sourcing. For older shoppers, this matters because store brands are often chosen to stretch a fixed grocery budget. And there is nothing wrong with trying to save money. But paying more for organic only makes sense if the organic premium buys something real. If the milk is anonymous, you are paying extra for uncertainty. Here is a simple test you can use the next time you shop. If a carton says organic, flip it around and look for signs of real identity. Is there a farm name? Is there a farmer-owned cooperative? Is there a third-party animal welfare certification? Is it grass-fed with a clear standard? Is there any clue beyond the store logo? If the answer is no, consider putting it back, not because every store brand organic milk is bad, because anonymous premium milk asks for trust without offering enough proof. And when a brand wants more money from your family, proof should not be optional. Number 4. Dean Foods and Legacy DFA brands. Dean Foods used to be the largest milk processor in the United States. After bankruptcy, many of its assets were acquired by Dairy Farmers of America. Brands connected to that legacy still appear in stores across the country, including names like True Moo, Country Fresh, and regional dairy labels. The issue here is not one single carton. It is the conventional milk machine behind many familiar labels. Large conventional dairy can be cheap, available, and consistent, but it often gives shoppers very little insight into the farm conditions, animal welfare standards, antibiotic policies beyond legal minimums, or whether the brand is doing anything meaningfully better than commodity milk. Now look at flavored milk, especially chocolate milk marketed to children. True Moo is one of the most visible examples. Depending on the product, a single serving can contain a meaningful amount of added sugar. For a child, that can become a daily habit fast. For a grandparent, it may feel harmless. A carton of chocolate milk seems better than soda. It has calcium. It has protein. It looks like dairy. But added sugar is still added sugar. The American Heart Association recommends limiting added sugar for children, and one sweetened dairy drink can take up a large share of that daily limit. 2 servings can push a child much closer to the ceiling than many families realize. This is where marketing does its quiet work. A product can be in the dairy aisle and still behave like a dessert drink. A product can have milk in it and still train a child to expect sweetness every time they drink dairy. For older adults, there is another angle. Many people buy what the grandchildren like. That is understandable. But if a child drinks sweetened milk every visit, the habit becomes normal. The better move is to treat chocolate milk like a treat, not a default drink. Choose plain milk when possible. If you need flavor, add a small amount yourself so you control the sugar instead of letting the brand decide. Legacy dairy brands are not always dangerous, but they are often built for volume, price, and shelf dominance. That is not the same thing as purity. Number 3. Berkeley Farms. Berkeley Farms is a familiar name in Northern California. For many shoppers, it carries nostalgia. It feels local. It feels old. It feels like the kind of brand that must have earned trust over generations. But nostalgia is not a safety record. In 2002, Berkeley Farms conducted a recall in California after penicillin residues were detected in milk and cream products during routine testing by state agriculture officials. Penicillin residues in milk are not supposed to be there. When cows are treated with antibiotics, milk from those animals is supposed to be withheld until residues clear according to safety rules. That system exists for a reason. For people with penicillin allergies, even small exposures can be a concern. And beyond individual allergy risk, antibiotic residues in the food supply are part of the broader public health conversation about antibiotic resistance. Now, this recall was not yesterday, it was years ago. A fair script has to say that clearly. But a brand with a contamination history does not get to use heritage and local warmth as a shield forever. Berkeley Farms is also owned by H.P. Hood, the same company connected to the 2024 Lactaid recall involving possible undeclared almond. These are different recalls, different products, and different time periods. But when a parent company has multiple recall events across brands, consumers have a reason to pay attention. The carton may look friendly. The cow illustration may feel comforting. The name may remind people of a local dairy tradition. But if the reason you buy a brand is trust, the recall history belongs in the conversation. That is the theme running through this entire list. We are not saying every carton from every brand is contaminated. We are saying that the label often tells the emotional story, while recall records tell the operational story. And when those two stories do not match, your family deserves to know. Number 2. Silk plant-based milk. Silk made plant-based milk mainstream. For millions of shoppers, Silk feels like the cleaner choice. No dairy, no lactose, often fewer calories, a wellness image, a sustainability image, a product that seems modern, gentle, and health-conscious. But in 2024, Canadian public health officials linked a listeria outbreak to recalled Silk and Great Value plant-based refrigerated beverages. The final public health notice reported 20 confirmed illnesses, 15 hospitalizations, and 3 deaths. The notice also said 70% of cases were adults 50 years of age or older. That detail should stop every older viewer in the room. Listeria is not a mild label problem. It can be especially serious for older adults, pregnant women, newborns, and people with weakened immune systems. It can lead to severe illness and, in some cases, death. The recalled products were in Canada, not a blanket recall of every Silk product in the United States. That distinction matters. But the event still shows something important. Plant-based does not automatically mean safer. Wellness branding does not sterilize a production line. A carton of oat milk can carry risk, just like dairy can carry risk. Now look at nutrition. Many almond and oat beverages have far less protein than dairy milk. Some varieties contain oils, gums, stabilizers, or added sugars. Again, that does not make every plant-based product bad, but it means the word milk can create a health halo that the nutrition label may not support. If you choose plant-based milk because of allergies, digestion, ethics, or taste, that is your choice. Just do not let the green packaging do your thinking. Check protein. Check added sugar. Check calcium and vitamin fortification. Check recall notices. And if you are buying for an older adult with a weaker immune system, take refrigerated beverage recall seriously. Silk is on this list because the brand image is soft, but the outbreak record was severe. And number 1 is the brand that best represents the central problem in the modern milk aisle. Number 1. Horizon Organic. Full verdict. We mentioned Horizon at the beginning because it is one of the most recognizable organic milk brands in America. It returns at number 1 because no brand better shows the distance between what families think they are buying and what watchdogs have warned they may actually be getting. Horizon is not a tiny brand hiding in a corner. It is a national symbol of organic dairy. It is the carton many families choose when they want to do better. It is the name parents know, grandparents recognize, and stores place at eye level. That level of trust creates a higher responsibility. According to the Cornucopia Organic Dairy Scorecard, Horizon has been rated near the bottom, compared with more transparent and pasture-focused brands. Cornucopia has criticized industrial-scale organic dairy because it can weaken the meaning of organic for everyone. When huge operations compete with smaller farms while using the same consumer-friendly language, the shopper may not realize how different those systems are. The word organic should mean more than a higher price. It should mean real pasture, real accountability, real sourcing transparency, real respect for the farms that do the hard work correctly. And this is where shoppers need to be careful. A USDA organic seal is meaningful, but it is not the whole story. It does not automatically mean the cows spent their lives in the kind of green pasture shown on the carton. It does not automatically tell you herd size. It does not automatically tell you how transparent the company has been with independent reviewers. For a family trying to eat better, that is frustrating. You should not need to become an investigator just to buy milk, but until the label tells the whole truth, the consumer has to ask better questions. Is this milk from a farmer-owned cooperative? Is it from a brand with strong independent ratings? Is it grass-fed with a verified standard? Is it vat pasteurized instead of ultra-processed? Does the company name farms, regions, and practices in a way that can be checked? If the answer is no, the premium price may be buying comfort more than quality. Horizon may be convenient. It may be widely available. It may still be better than some conventional options in some ways. But if you are paying top-shelf prices for top-shelf trust, there are better cartons to consider. Now we are going to move from warning to control. Because the goal is not to scare you away from milk. The goal is to help you buy better milk in less time. Here is the 10-second carton test. First, look for one ingredient, milk. Second, check added sugar. Plain milk should have 0 added sugar. Third, check source transparency. A real farm, a cooperative, or a strong third-party certification is better than a vague label. Fourth, check processing. Vat pasteurized and non-homogenized often signal a more careful product, while ultra-processed does not always mean bad, but it does mean engineered. Fifth, check recall history if a brand is new to you, especially if you are buying for children, older adults, or anyone with allergies. Now let us talk about the 8 brands that have actually earned attention for better sourcing, cleaner labels, stronger standards, or meaningful differences you can taste. Number 8. Stonyfield Organic. Stonyfield Organic has been around for decades and built its name around organic dairy before organic became a mainstream supermarket word. The reason it belongs on the good list is simple. It is widely available, easy to understand, and generally cleaner than many conventional alternatives. The ingredient list on plain whole milk is straightforward. Organic milk. No added sugar. No gums. No flavor trickery. For families, that matters. A good milk should not need a complicated explanation. It should not need a paragraph of stabilizers. It should not depend on cartoon packaging or protein math to feel valuable. Stonyfield is not the most elite milk on this list. It may not have the small farm romance of some glass bottle brands. It may not be the richest tasting option, but for many households it is a practical upgrade that is easier to find than boutique dairy. That matters for older adults who do not want to drive to 3 stores or order specialty groceries online. The taste is smooth, familiar, and clean. It works in coffee, cereal, oatmeal, baking, and a simple glass at dinner. And because the brand has a long organic history, it gives shoppers a more reliable starting point than many anonymous private label cartons. If your current milk is conventional or a vague store brand organic, Stonyfield is a reasonable first step up. Number 7. Kalana Supernatural. Kalana Supernatural is the kind of milk many people are trying to imagine when they buy organic. The brand is based in Iowa and is associated with smaller family farm traditions, including Amish and Mennonite farming communities. The products are often cream top, non-homogenized, and vat pasteurized. Those details matter. Non-homogenized means the cream can naturally rise to the top. You shake the bottle, and the milk comes back together. That one little ritual tells you something. This milk has not been forced into the same uniform texture as most mass-market milk. Vat pasteurization uses lower heat for a longer time than many industrial methods. The purpose is still safety, but the result can preserve more flavor and a softer texture. For older viewers, this may taste closer to the milk they remember from childhood. Richer, rounder, less flat. The label is also refreshingly simple. Whole milk should be whole milk. It should not feel like a science project. Kalana may cost more and may not be available everywhere. But if you find it, it is one of the clearest examples of milk that feels connected to an actual farming model, not just a national branding campaign. Number 6. Organic Valley Grass Milk. Organic Valley is a farmer-owned cooperative, and that structure matters. When farmers own the cooperative, the brand is not just a distant corporation buying milk from anonymous suppliers. The people producing the milk have a direct stake in the system. The grass milk line is especially important because it focuses on 100% grass-fed dairy. That means the cows are not just organic. The feeding model is built around grass and forage. Why does that matter? Research on pasture-based and grass-fed dairy has found higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and conjugated linoleic acid compared with conventional milk. You do not need to memorize the chemistry. Just remember this. What the cow eats changes the milk. Grass-based dairy tends to produce a richer fatty acid profile. For shoppers trying to make milk count nutritionally, that is a real difference. Organic Valley grass milk tastes creamier than standard milk, with a fuller body and a cleaner finish. It also has a stronger story behind it than many premium cartons, because the cooperative model gives it a different kind of accountability. It is still widely distributed enough for many American families to find. That makes it one of the best practical upgrades on the list. If you want one carton that balances availability, nutrition, and trust, this is a strong candidate. Number 5. Strauss Family Creamery. Strauss Family Creamery is one of the most respected names in organic dairy. The brand has deep roots in California and became known for organic farming, glass bottles, and a more careful approach to milk processing. The glass bottle is not just pretty. It protects flavor better than many cartons and plastic containers, and the return system encourages a less disposable way of buying milk. But the real reason Strauss belongs here is integrity. This is milk with a sense of place. You are not buying a mystery carton from a supply chain so wide that nobody can explain it in plain English. You are buying from a brand that has built its identity around organic dairy and environmental responsibility for decades. The milk is rich, clean, and lightly sweet from natural lactose. It tastes like milk should taste before the flavor gets flattened by high heat processing and long distribution chains. Strauss may be more expensive. It may be harder to find outside certain regions, but it represents the kind of dairy many shoppers believe they are buying when they choose organic. That is the difference. Some brands use the organic image. Strauss has spent years building the organic practice. Number 4. Maple Hill Creamery. Maple Hill is known for 100% grass-fed organic dairy. That phrase is important because many shoppers assume organic automatically means grass-fed. It does not. Organic rules require pasture access during the grazing season, but 100% grass-fed is a more specific feeding promise. Maple Hill puts that promise at the center of the brand. The ingredient list is simple. The milk is creamy. The taste has a fuller, almost buttery quality compared with standard supermarket milk. It feels less watery and more complete. For families, this is one of the cleanest upgrades because it is easy to explain. Cows eat grass. Milk tastes better. The nutrition profile improves. The label stays simple. That is the kind of food logic people can understand without needing a lecture. Maple Hill also works well for older adults who want a product that feels premium, but not gimmicky. No neon bottle. No protein theater. No dessert drink pretending to be a health food. Just organic grass-fed milk with a clear promise. The only caution is availability and price. It can cost more than conventional milk and may not be in every store. But if your grocery has it, it is worth comparing side by side with the milk you usually buy. Many people can taste the difference immediately. Number 3. Clover, Sonoma. Clover Sonoma has a long history in Northern California and is known for regional sourcing from family farms. The brand has also used third-party certifications related to animal welfare and organic standards. That combination matters because no single claim should carry the whole carton. Organic is helpful. Animal welfare certification adds another layer. Regional sourcing adds another layer. A long-standing relationship with family farms adds another layer. When a milk brand stacks real standards instead of vague feelings, the shopper gets more confidence. Clover Sonoma also has a taste profile that many people appreciate. It is creamy without being too heavy. It works well in coffee, cereal, and cooking. It does not overpower food, but it does not taste thin either. For older adults, especially those who still cook at home, that balance matters. Milk is not just for drinking. It goes into mashed potatoes, oatmeal, soups, baking, sauces, and morning coffee. A good milk should support the kitchen, not just look good in the refrigerator. Clover Sonoma is also a reminder that regional brands can be better choices than national giants. Sometimes the best carton is not the most famous one. Sometimes it is the one with a real local supply chain and enough third-party review to make the label mean something. Number 2. Origin Milk. Origin Milk is one of the more distinctive brands on the good list. It focuses on regenerative organic dairy, A2 milk, heritage breeds, grass-fed practices, low-heat vat pasteurization, and non-homogenized cream-top milk. That is a lot of claims, but unlike many brands, those claims point in the same direction. Better soil, better pasture, heritage cows, A2 beta casein, richer milk, less aggressive processing. The result is a product that feels very different from ordinary supermarket milk. Origin milk often has a richer color and a deeper flavor because of the breeds and the fat profile. It tastes more like a farm product than a factory product. For people who remember milk as something with body and character, this one can feel almost nostalgic. The A2 part is also worth understanding. Most conventional milk contains both A1 and A2 beta-casein proteins. Some research suggests milk containing only A2 beta-casein may be easier for some people to digest. The science is still developing, and not every study says the same thing. But many consumers report less discomfort with A2 milk. That does not mean A2 milk cures lactose intolerance. It does not. It still contains lactose, unless the product is also lactose-free. But for people who feel uncomfortable with ordinary milk and do not know why, A2 can be worth discussing with a health professional. Origin is not the cheapest milk. It is not the easiest to find. But it may be one of the most meaningfully different cartons in the dairy case. If Horizon is the mass-market version of organic comfort, Origin is the serious upgrade. Number 1. The A2 Milk Company. The A2 Milk Company earns the top spot for one reason. It gives many shoppers a practical, widely available way to try A2 milk without hunting through specialty stores. The idea behind A2 milk is simple. Cow milk contains beta-casein protein. Many conventional dairy herds produce milk with both A1 and A2 beta-casein. A2 milk comes from cows that naturally produce only the A2 type. Some studies suggest A2 milk may reduce digestive discomfort in certain people compared with ordinary milk containing A1 and A2 proteins. Research is still ongoing, and it is not a guaranteed solution for everyone. But for shoppers who love milk and feel uncomfortable after drinking it, A2 is one of the more interesting options in the dairy aisle. This matters for older adults. Many people quietly give up milk because they think their bodies simply cannot handle dairy anymore. Sometimes lactose is the issue. Sometimes quantity is the issue. Sometimes fat level is the issue. And for some people, the protein type may be part of the experience. The A2 Milk Company makes that experiment easier because the brand is widely distributed in major retailers. You can often find it at stores like Walmart, Target, Kroger, Costco, and Whole Foods, depending on location. The label is simple. The taste is familiar. The product does not require a complete lifestyle change. That is why it is number 1 on the good list. Not because it is the most artisanal, not because it is the fanciest, because it is a realistic upgrade for ordinary families. And ordinary families are the people who need better choices most. So let us bring this home. The milk aisle is not as simple as it looks. A carton can say organic and still raise sourcing questions. A bottle can brag about protein and still carry a troubling supply chain history. A plant-based beverage can look gentle and still be linked to a serious outbreak.